You're listening to Dangerfield's Sunday Prescription. Good evening, or good morning, depends when you're listening to it. Hi. As you can tell, it's kind of laid back this week because I'm shattered, absolutely shattered. I did book tickets today. No, I didn't book any tickets today. Fuck knows. I've arranged to go to Cambodia this Christmas with the missus, who...
Woohoo!
See, she started early, you see? Started early, ruined everything.
Sorry.
Do you think apologising helps, or does it... How much time have we wasted now? Shall I... No, I'm just going with it. So, yeah, we're going back to Cambodia, and I'm well happy about that. It's been a bit of a hard week for me. I did a gig, right? I don't like doing gigs, really. It's hard graft and usually awful. Trevor Locke said to me once, it's a privilege to do a gig, you should enjoy it. What a lovely thing to do. But I tried to go with that, but I find it really hard work. And I done... I was a support act. Cheeky cunt Ben Krellin said to me, now you see, I don't know why I agree to this kind of shit. It's been years, 3 or 4 years since I'd done a support. It's been 5 odd years since I'd done a showcase, you know, where they don't advertise names. They just go, come to our comedy night, and you kind of turn up and do a spot. It's fucking horrible. Because that wouldn't happen in anything else. Would you go to a music night and you go there and the first band is like death metal, followed by a little jazz quintet, followed by a string quartet, followed by a man going, it's not going to work. But with comedy, idiots, right, well-meaning idiots think, oh, this will be good, people will love it, and they don't, because comedy is really different. It's intrinsically, deliberately, intentionally, and thankfully very different, very not self-identical. So you have to do it when no one knows who you are and you have very little ability. You have to do showcases when you start. And it's a weird one, stand-up, because it's one of the very few things, and if you know otherwise, email me, Facebook, tweet me some answers. But I don't know many forms of entertainment or creativity that you learn on the job. You know, when you're a stand-up, you have to just go and do it. You do at some point. You have a first gig. Now there is an argument that you've told jokes since you were knee-high to a grasshopper. You've told stories all the time, but it's very different. There's a craft there. I can assure you, it's very different. There's so much to learn when dealing with an audience, dealing with a live situation. But you have to learn it on the job. One day you have to say, I'm going to be a stand-up comedian, and then you have to turn up at a venue where they don't give a shit about you, and of course there's a certain amount of arrogance, and it's positive arrogance, because you've got to say, no, I'm good at this, I can make people laugh, I can control a room, I can work with a room, and in truth, you can't. It takes years to learn it, and every year you look back and think, oh man, I can't believe I used to stand up and say that and do that. But you have to have almost you have to be actively in denial of your lack of ability. Because if you were aware of actually how shit you were and how shit you must be because you haven't done it enough, you wouldn't do it. Does that make sense? If you turned up at a venue and thought, right, your average jobbing comic has been going for 7 or 8 years at least. I've been going for no minutes, and I'm about to give it a go. And so you can't admit that. So you think, no, I can do it. I'm natural. I'm a natural. No one's a natural at anything. I got a friend who's a fantastic guitar player. You know, I mean fantastic. I've never known him not to be able to at least imitate something perfectly. Not so good at the writing, but, you know, play him a bit of Hendrix or a bit of John McLaughlin and he'll play it. You know, he can just do it. And it annoys me when other guitarists go, oh, Paul's a natural. He's not a natural. He put a fuck lot of work in. I find that quite not offensive. Imagine, how dare you call me a natural? But when people say to me, oh, you're a natural storyteller, I'm like, no, I can't work out how you would be genetically predisposed to tell stories. How would that move itself down generations? It'd be ridiculous. It's fucking taken work and effort and knowledge and study and a lot of looking at yourself and thinking, you're a fucking idiot, you got to do better next time. So it's been a long time since I've done those showcases, and when I broke, when I went from doing the usual thing for a comic these days, and there's no one way of doing it. If you are a new comic, don't worry, there's no one way of doing it, but there are some standards which can kind of help you. And Edinburgh is a classic. You get to do 3 or 4 week run, and you learn a lot from that. You learn a lot about yourself, you learn a lot about dealing with audiences. You certainly learn to relax, because you can't afford to get too excited, because you've got another 29 gigs to go. I got 29 gigs to go. So you do your first Edinburgh is like a showcase. You just take whatever gigs you can get, and you'll usually be part of 7 or 8 other acts. And one of you will rise to the top like I did, and they'll give you the headline where you get to go on last. And there's some NLP at work there. When you're at a showcase and the audience come in and you've got your shitty 2 till 3 in the afternoon slot at some ridiculous bar that the audience sit in like a Z shape, and you can't look at more than 3 people in the face at the same time. And then you get to the end slot of that, and it works, when the compere goes on and says, right, I hope you enjoyed everything, now we've got our final act and it's our best act, and that's all nice. And then the next year you'll do another showcase, but you might have agreed that you get 20 minutes at the end. Then you do what they call a triple header, which isn't like some kind of Hydra creature. It's you and a couple of mates, and more often than not you end up not mates at the end of it. It's fucking stressing, and it's real egos. I mean, Edinburgh really is the battle of the egos. It's everyone having this amazing appearance of humility with like a fucking an engine of ego behind it. It's incredible. Hey John, how's your show going? Oh, yeah, not bad. But inside you're going, yeah, it's going alright. I've heard yours is going alright as well, you cunt. Yeah, I bet I've had more numbers than you. Yeah, have you had any reviews yet? Yeah, I've read the shit one, don't care about the rest. And when your show's going well, people are like, yeah, well, you're getting all the write-ups, aren't you? That weird kind of, and it's like sarcastic sort of hatred, which is just loosely guised hatred. So you do your triple header, and usually, my experience is one of the 3 is a little bit better than the others, and the other 2 think, I'm giving this up, I'm not coming back. And they're all northern, of course. And then after that, you do your solo show. And it's such an amazing thing to go from, I used to travel to London to do 5 minutes in an empty pub. You'd have the other comics there, the bar staff and the promoter, and they are overly friendly and overly supportive. I'd much rather them been honest. They're not. They're overly supportive. You get up on stage, and by stage it's just a bit of the bar that the empty chairs aren't in, and you go, busy here tonight. And the other acts, because they've got to go on, they all go, ha, he said it was busy, ha, 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 ha. And you think, whoa, I can just do this. I used to do that, and then you do your like I just said, all that other stuff, and then finally you do your own show, and it's your opening night at Edinburgh, and it's packed. In my experience, I had over 100 people there, and it was fucking wicked, because they're there to see you. And if going back to what I said about when you're doing that showcase, and you wouldn't go and see death metal, jazz, a string quartet, and with my act as well, and a lot of people's act, but my act is quite different. I don't tell jokes, I tell stories, and I don't tell stories of, my mother-in-law. They're fucking vile, they're gross, they're aggressive, and they're disgusting. And people don't really want that. On the whole, they don't want it. I know my audience. You lot, people listening to this, the few of you are, you're vile, you like the wrong things. But I know I'm talking to people who like me. They're talking to people who, if they don't like me, they certainly like what I say. Or if they don't like it, they're interested in it. And that's nice. And it's the same with performing. When you stand up in between a bloke who does puns and a bloke who does jokes about his Indian family, and I stand up and go, I fucked a dead person once, they don't like it. So when you're doing your own show and it's got a name and it's what you do, and when hundreds of people turn up to that, you're like, wow, they know roughly what to expect. They've read the previews, they've seen bits of you, they've heard about you, and they're there to see you. So that doesn't guarantee success, far from it, but it does get them on side. And also just the fact that the show's got your name on it, it kind of helps. It tells people, that even your casual comedy fan who's gone to Edinburgh just because it's a nice weekend. And if you haven't been to the Edinburgh Festival, and I nearly said Edinburgh Comedy Festival because there's loads of other shit up there, but the comedy's kind of taken over. If you haven't been, go. It's fucking brilliant. There's about 4 different free fringes now, so you can go up there and all you're spending money on is food, and there's some fantastic restaurants in Edinburgh and booze. And you can go and see loads of great comedy for free. They'll shake a bucket at the end, but they're happy for you to put a quid in. If you've got 100 people in your audience, they'll put £2 in. 200 quid's lovely for a 45-minute set on a Thursday afternoon. I'm happy with that. I fuck knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, I get it. So you got your name, and so the audience are kind of, they know. That's what I'm saying. Even your casual comedy audience who've strayed into the Edinburgh Festival because it's a nice weekend, they kind of know that you've done, you've earned your stripes. You've done your shitty gigs. You've done your open mics. You've done your triple header or your double header, you've done your showcases, or you wouldn't get there. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are people who just jump in and go, oh, it's my first Edinburgh, I've decided to do an hour show. But they don't have the previews, they don't have the write-ups, they don't have the, you can't, it's very hard to market yourself if you haven't got something to market. So they kind of know, and it works for you because, when the compare, or usually it's me just ducking behind the table, go, ladies and gentlemen, will you welcome to the shithole little bit of clear space, Chris Dangerfield. They go mad and they're up for you, and you walk on and you've already got them on side to an extent. Don't get me wrong, it's a tightrope and you can lose them effortlessly, but you've got them on side, and it's really nice. So I got used to that. I'd done a couple of Edinburgh shows, my full hours. I was doing hours in London, and all the gigs I'd done, a few headlines around the country. You come and see me, lovely. And then my mate Ben Crellin rung me up. He went, hey, Chris, cool, yeah, nice, yeah. Do you want to do a double header at the Comedy Caf? Now, when I done sex...
Sorry.
See, she smokes. See? She can't take air anymore. Okay. So, he rang me up and he went, hey, cool, yeah, sure. Do you want to do a double header at the Comedy Caf in Shoreditch? Now, when I done Sex Tourist at the Comedy Caf in Shoreditch, I sold it out. Oh, did you? Yes, I did. Did you sell it out in 2 days? I certainly did. Was it £10 a ticket? Yes, it was. 2 days. That sounds to me like the record selling out speed of the Comedy Caf over the last 20 years. Yes, it was. So that was great. I sold out the Comedy Caf in 2 days, the fastest I'd ever sold out a show. Not because I'm very good, but because I don't do a lot of gigs. And I'm so frightened of doing small rooms. I don't like doing 5 or 6 people. People always say, no, you learn a lot from doing a gig with only 5 people. Yeah, you learn it's fucking hard work and you never want to do it again. So I'm so scared of that. I become a marketing machine, and I put everything into it, and I make sure that place is full. And it was. So Ben Crellin, great comic, he's doing a thing called The Man. He dresses up in yellow and he's got ridiculous contact lenses in. He's a great comic. Go and see him in Edinburgh. He's at the Assembly Rooms. I haven't seen the show, but I've worked with Ben a lot, and he's very, very good. He's got integrity. I really think he has. He was quite a big shot in New Zealand. He was a television club comic, and he just went, no, I'm not going to be that bastard anymore. I'm going to go to England and fail, but I'm going to fail and fail better. And he's failing very well at the moment. So he's at the Assembly Rooms in Edinburgh. The Man. Go and check it out. It's on Facebook and things. Write to him. It's good stuff. He'll talk to you about it if you want to know. So he got hold of me and said, do you want to do this double header? I'll be honest with you, I think he just wanted me to bring my audience along. That's not true. He likes me. And so I went, nah, I don't want to do a double header because that's 2 hours, and one of us would have had to have gone on first. and you have to sort of market it as like 2-1 double him, her, him, us gig, you know. And for some reason I went, yeah, all right, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just sort of do a quick 30 at the beginning. Now that's a weird agreement, because a quick 30 is neither a quick anything, but it is actually 30. So it's not like you're opening, and I'm not an opening act. Not because I'm better. Opening is fucking difficult, especially at the Comedy Caf, where after 20 years of putting on comedy, they don't have a fucking clue. Honest. They don't have a compare. Now, when I do my own show, I don't have a compare, not necessary. But when it's me and Ben, and you know, there's no compare, people just came in. It wasn't full. There was rows of empty seats around the stage. A compare would have got them together, moved them together, made it, taken what you got and made it work. But they didn't. I was just at the bar drinking water, sweating like death. Felt like I hadn't slept for about a year. It was probably about 3 days. And this voice from nowhere just went, ladies and gentlemen, will you welcome to the stage your first act, Chris Dangerfield. And I was like, oh fuck. And I'm about to sort of tiptoe up on stage. Awful. I was awful. And the thing is with me, because it's storytelling, you know, I tell stories. It's about 50% bullshit, 50% true, which makes none of it bullshit and none of it true. And that's the beauty of it. I think Brendan Burns, Aussie comic, said, being a raconteur, this isn't what he said verbatim, but this is the point he was making. If anyone wants to argue that, fuck off and argue it with someone else. But his point was essentially, you know, comedians, they tell the truth and they lie, and the audience's laughter comes out of an understanding of that kind of contradiction. Now, with me as a raconteur whose stories are kind of about me and about my life, when people don't like it, it's hard for me to see that as anything but they don't like me. And in my experience, if that happens early on in a gig, it's not going to change. But you can't walk off. You can't just go, fuck it. Because it's not good for your reputation. If you get known as the sort of act who's having a hard time and just walks off, you won't get booked. So I've gone up. I could barely talk to myself, let alone a half-assed, half-empty audience that didn't want to see me. And I started talking, and they hated me, and I had that feeling, and I have not had it for 4 years. I have not had it since I was a support act, since I was doing showcases, since I was not doing my own gigs, and it was fucking horrible. It felt dark. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd done 4, 5, 6 years of that, and I knew I had to, but because you haven't had the good gigs and because you haven't done your named gigs, you don't know any different. But I've got really used to the luxury of my own gigs. Oh, you know what it is? Yeah, oh yeah, you've read the reviews, here it comes. And suddenly I might as well have just been some bastard nobody, not know how to do comedy, arrogant fool. And they hated me. That feeling. And all comics know it because we've all fucked up. However, because I know that I can do it and because I know it can be turned around, I did turn it round. At about 10 minutes, I had about a third of them on side. At about 15 minutes, maybe 2/3. And by the end, I was getting good laughs, big laughs, and I was being able to reference the fact that, whoa, that was hard work. You didn't like me earlier, but you love me now. And it was kind of all right, but shit, man, those feelings. And I didn't hang around to see Ben. I was so tired and so shattered, and I left there and I sweat like a pig when I perform. I sweat like a pig anyway. And walking back down Old Street to the Tube, like all soaking wet, and the evening, the cool air of an evening was making me cold, and sat on the Tube sweating, like puffing my vape, looking just not happy. And people, like young people on the Tube, look at me thinking, I really don't want to end up like that lost cause there. Really weird. But I got back and I thought, there's a reason why I don't do supports. I hate them, and I'll hopefully not make that mistake again. Not going up to Edinburgh this year to do a show. I am going to go up there. I'm doing something for NBC, the American TV network. I'm doing some, not stand-up, some chat show stuff with them, with my new development people who accepted my pitch. Oh, yes, I told you about it before. Well, they're going to get me on there. I think I'm going on with Uber Spaz, Tim Renko, and word is maybe Reginald D. Hunter. So that'll be a laugh. And I get to stay at my mate's pad up in Edinburgh. It's fucking lovely. And he's a celebrity chef, don't you know? And so he cooks me breakfast and cooks me lunch and cooks me dinner. And my girlfriend comes up and we get to stay there for free. And it's beautiful. And it's 5 minutes out of town. So I'm going to go up to Edinburgh. I will probably do a few spots up there, but it'll be in venues where people know me and they'll know that it's just a spot. And I won't be doing 30 minutes. I'll just get up there. And Edinburgh's different. You can just shout at them and you can just drop the mic and go, fuck it. Get the next act on. I got to go home and have some Xanax or something. You know what my missus, she's sitting here working away, getting it done, little laptop on her, and she's been so funny lately. She's like a natural comedian. She's a natural comedian. There, I said it, because she's neither. She's not natural and she's not a comic. But check this out. We go to Jay Sheiky's. Shout out to Jay Sheiky's. If you like seafood, go to Sheiky's. I say it every week. I've said it 3 times, but it feels like every week. We're in there the other day and we've had a lovely crab, lobster. I had 5 lobsters that day, honestly, 5 lobsters. I had lobster, there's a thing on Dean Street called Smack, very funny, and they sell lobster rolls. So I had one of them for lunch. I had crayfish salad from Pret for breakfast. I'm not a lobster, but similar, like a freshwater lobster, innit? And then I've gone up there and had a couple more lobsters, and I can't remember the other one, but man, I was lobstered out. But we've eaten all that, and then I've said, should we have a dessert? They do amazing desserts like sour cherry marshmallow slice. Oh my gosh, amazing! Just like honestly, if I knew they existed when I used to smoke weed all day and night long, like I did for 20 years, I would have just eaten them till I'd have exploded like that fucking. One out of Charlie and the marshmallow sour cherry slice. We're looking at the desserts, and of course it's got the cheeseboard, and I always do it. I don't know, when English people, Europeans finish eating, they want something sweet maybe it's a working class thing, but we want something sweet. I was down at my mother's today chopping her garden up. Not chopping her garden up, pruning trees, but essentially chopping her garden up. And I got talking to her, we were talking about evaporated milk, remember that vile stuff? And I said, what did we have that with? And she went, tin pears, tin peaches, and I remembered it, that slopping the tinned pears out of the tin, obviously, and then pouring evaporated milk on it, and it would sort of nearly mix with the syrup. Oh man, in those little plastic bowls that we'd had so long they'd gone furry at the bottom where the spoon had been dragged across it so many times. Oh man, tinned pears and evaporated milk. You know, the funny thing is, as I say it, my little nostalgia buds are going mad, and maybe I wouldn't mind some tinned pears and evaporated milk. Anyway, we ended up arguing. She's going, no, Carnation is not condensed milk. Carnation is evaporated milk. I was going, no, Carnation is condensed milk because I have it in Thailand with coffee. And then my mother's mate Barbara went, no, they do. No, Nestle make that. Carnation isn't. And I was like, oh, hang on, mate. We've done about 25 minutes talking about the Carnation, the condensed, evaporated milk. Point being, on restaurant menus for desserts, they always have cheeseboard. I've never known anyone opt for the cheeseboard. Now, I know, because I know what arseholes humans are, some of the people listening to this are going, oh no, actually I quite like the cheeseboard. Oh, fuck do you? I've never seen anyone have it. Oh, I like a cheeseboard. I'll go a bit of brie, a bit of capri de deux. I like a bit of Gouda. But I never go for the cheeseboard when there's fucking sour cherry marshmallow slice. No. And they do this other thing, which is like 10 types of chocolate covered in honeycomb with hot chocolate sauce. Oh, shall I have that or shall I have the cheeseboard? Come on. Well, I tell you what, when we used to go to Gaultier, we stopped going there. If you're listening, Mr. Gaultier, it's only because your best chefs left, and they used to give us loads of free stuff, including a bottle of 90 quid olive oil that we slipped in a bag. They've left, it don't matter. But there they do a dessert called a Louis XV. Check out a Louis XV. Yeah, Louis XV, after Louis XIV. I hope I've got that right. XV is 14th, isn't it? 10, 11, 12, 13, yeah, Louis XV. And it's many different types of chocolate in a layer, like a chocolate praline, a dark chocolate. All of these are like a millimetre, like there's about 25,000 different types of chocolate in a layer. And on top it's got real gold leaf. No way, real gold leaf. Now, I've got 6 gold teeth anyway, but after munching one of them down, sometimes it looks like I've got 7 or 8. But never the Cheeseboard. And fuck you, if you're sitting there now saying, no, whatever you say, Dangerfield, I do have the Cheeseboard. No, you don't. And if you do, prove it. Here we go. Anyone can send me a photo of them on Facebook at a dinner where everyone else has got a dessert and you've got a Cheeseboard. I'll give you a prize, and it won't be cheese. It might be a sour cherry marshmallow slice. Think about it. Now, so they got that, but at the Jay Sheiky's, they've also got Welsh rarebit, which if you don't...
Tell everyone about this story!
Shush, continue working. Yep, you've got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Know what that means? Okay, so they got the Welsh rarebit. If you don't know what that is, it's basically cheese on toast with a bit of Worcester sauce, right? And I said to her, look, what is this with the Cheeseboard and the Welsh rarebit? And she was like, I know. I went, who wants cheese on toast after their 3-course meal? And she went, this is about the Welsh rarebit, yeah? She went, probably Scottish. That's right. Now, there is a chance, because I didn't bother looking up, there is some weird twist of culture that it could be Scottish. But my guess is a Welsh rarebit is not Scottish, okay? Now, there's no, hang on, shush. No, shush. Go on, you can say one line.
But I did realise, as I said it, I was completely being a dick.
Right, okay. So as you say, it's too late. Now, be quiet because you're doing it again. Shouldn't you be making my bangers and mash? Are we having bangers and mash?
Yes, we are.
Right, good. So make it, shush. No, it gets better though, because about 2-3 years ago, we were in bed and we were just waking up, and I woke up first and she was asleep, and I was trying to be all quiet, and she turned over and with her eyes shut, she went, don't forget the penis strap. She said, she shouted up, she went, don't forget the penis strap. Oh gosh. And when she woke up, I said it to her because I knew she'd remember. I went, oi, don't forget the penis strap. And she looked horrified. It was as if, how the hell do you know what I was dreaming about? And I went, what did you mean? And she was like, well, I just didn't want you to forget the penis strap. Anyway, the reason I'm telling you is 2 days ago, Saturday, fuck it, I can't remember. She's asleep. I get up first and she went, in her sleep, she went, eat your balls. Eat your balls. And then I went, what? And while she was asleep, she went, just in chocolate. I went, eh? And she fell back to sleep. When she woke up later, I went, eat your balls. And she just looked at me again. Oh my God, how do you know I was dreaming about? It gets better. That night, she falls asleep while we're arm in arm watching a documentary, laying on the bed. She falls asleep. She's asleep for 2 hours. And she went, you going out? No one talks in their sleep better than that weirdo. Okay, it's time for the questions. Okay, everybody. Don't forget, don't say grey lady, white lady, or you'll be cursed. Ah! It's alright, it's not real, you fucking weirdo. She looked terrified.
You forgot something in the podcast.
Oh yeah, no. Oh, she just reminded me. Did you know that Jew ladies shave their head? Oh my God! I despise religions. I despise religious people. I am an atheist and I'm fucking militant. I hate it. I don't. You can think what you want. If you want to believe all that absolute claptrap with no evidence and have it dictate your life, that's fine by me. Go to your desert, hang your balls over a wild rock until the sun dances, or whatever bullshit things you have to do. But don't start legislating because of it. Don't start telling me what to do because of it. Don't start setting laws because of it. And worst of all, don't tell your fucking children. If your children are going to believe that shit, they will believe it anyway. Don't indoctrinate them. Don't tell them that the world is 2 weeks old or something. You are cunts. You are abusing children by teaching them that shit. How dare you? Now, I can't believe I got this far. I know that the Jews sexually abuse their children. Of course they do. They cut the foreskin off the infant male with no anaesthetic. Oh no, because God wants a fucker to suffer. And the trauma, it must be awful. Check this out. In Israel, a load of them were saying, oh no, do you know this? This is true. That in Orthodox Jewish ceremonies, they have a man called something like the chufla, and he sucks the blood off of the freshly circumcised child's cock. No shit, this is real. Look it up. He's actually got a name. It's called something like the klichonla. And after they've hacked the fucking thing off, because God is imperfect and he's made a human boy rubbish. Oh no, look, you've got a foreskin. How dare you protect the glands? Your glands. Your glands. Your glands. Your glands. So no, it's not good enough. So hack that off, and when it's bleeding, because it shouldn't be hacked off, there's one of them down the kufla, goes down. Now check this out in Israel. It's all on the internet. It's on the news. You can check it out. They said, oh no, we're going to start getting the chifla to suck the blood off using a little glass tube. Oh, why would you want to do that? I'll tell you why, because the rabbis were giving the baby infant boys herpes. Absolutely right. This poor little innocent kid had herpes before it had even had a wank. I shit you not. Awful. How dare you? You know, my friend, the comedian Frederick Anderson, when I told him it, he went, he's Swedish, he went, oh my God, he went, like a really lazy vampire. They are gross. They are obsessed with sex. It's like the Catholic Church. They're obsessed with it. You know, this God, this amazing thing that created heaven and earth in 6 days. Had a rest. Why would he need a rest? Doesn't make sense. But he done all these amazing things. Spends a hell of a lot of time wondering about what humans do with their clothes off. You idiots. But never did I could know that I could come this far in my life. Don't get me wrong, I've read a lot of the Torah, I've read a lot of the Quran, I've read the New Testament, I've read the Old Testament, but I didn't know that Orthodox Jew ladies shave their heads. No shit, they do. My missus went to me, she went, she lives up in North London, she went, where I live, they all walk around with the same brown bobs. Because they shave their hair, and so they all have the same bob. And the idea is that, it says that I read this interview with one of these Jew ladies, and she went, the Lord God Hihala says that if I show just but one hair to another, I am showing them all of my beauty. What? You might be ugly, you arrogant bastard. So they shave their hair off, but then they wear a wig. Now the fact of the matter is, wigs can be more beautiful than your normal hair. That's why wigs are made. That's why porn stars wear wigs. That's why Beyonce wears a wig on stage, because they can look amazing. Imagine the Jew lady shaved her hair and she looked like a leukemia victim, and then she put on like a Barbarella, one of those huge blonde things. But no, these little bobs. Ridiculous, man. If you think that you need to shave your head for some ridiculous reason that was dreamt up in the desert 2,000 years ago to keep very small, uncivilized, uneducated, essentially dumb tribes from fucking and fighting each other, that's fine. But stick with the bald head. How dare you put a wig on? Talk about contradicting yourself, you cunt. I had to get that in. I can't stand it. Okay, so now we're on to the questions. Okay, Charlie Countryman, would you hold a stranger's poop for £20? Yes. Tally Oliver says, in retrospect, what? Every time, Tally Oliver, it's weird. In retrospect, what do you mean? Right, I'm going to ignore that bit. Did Dartington stroke Totnes do you any good? Stroke favours, semicolon, influence you, full stop. Do you look back in anger or affection? I genuinely want to know. I loved it. Listen to the podcast. I talk about it all the time. Andrew Thomas, I've started yoga. Have you ever done yoga, Mr. Danger Space Field? Andrew Thomas, I've been doing yoga since I was 23 years of old. I do Iyengar yoga after BKS Iyengar. I love it. I do the yoga. I do the Suptavarasana. I do the pranayama. Yeah, absolutely love it. Do it all the time. I've just started the gym again, so the yoga's coming into its own because it's great to stretch out all those aches and pains of smashing the gym. Yeah, love it, Andrew. Keep with it. Saralyn Walsh says, would like to know your reaction, stroke thoughts, re Queen's Nazi salute. Poor reporting by the Sun, as timelines don't match Hitler's reign. A bit of fun, or could it generally cause offence in your opinion? Right. Saralyn Walsh, have a look at it. Go back, have a look at the facts. The British aristocracy are essentially German. They were the Mountbattens. They changed their name to Windsor because Windsor sounds English. I would not be surprised that the amount of the Nazi sympathies that go on there. Didn't Guinness fund the Nazis? Everyone supported the Nazis until they came out that they were absolute arseholes. Not surprised at all. And they will back whoever's winning. That's how it works. Saralyn Walsh says, oh, weirdly, both my comments on your podcast have been related to Germany. Well, because I've printed the questions off wrong. That don't make any sense. John Webb says, how deep is your love? How deep is your love? I really need to know. Very deep, John. Stuart Pike says, why in the early zeros did you feel the need to reinvent the crack pipe made from a miniature spirits bottle? Well, Stuart Pike, I know we've had many weird nights jangled, not knowing how to talk to each other after smoking rocks, but I don't remember reinventing the crack pipe. Not saying I didn't, but I don't remember. John Webb comes back with, where's my frog? I don't know. Stuart Pike, oh, fucking hell, doubles. Stuart Pike, Jeremiah the Bullfrog ate him. I think those two are talking about things I know nothing of. Daniel O'Bleen says, define prejudice. What's racism? Why do you fascinate me? Define prejudice. I can't. You know what? I can't. You got me there. I suppose it's bringing baggage to something because of an association that wouldn't necessarily affect the outcome of the analysis. I don't think that counts, does it? What's racism? Well, I think it's judging individuals, judging a race by individuals and I don't know, it's too late on Sunday for these kind of shit. Why do I fascinate you? I'll tell you, because I'm lovely. Matthew Ford says, do you know the Muffin Man? Nope. Cone Simpsonsky. I'm just here for the bananas. Oh, they still ain't come out. Fuck knows what's happened to them. Katie Hearsey says, can it be any question? Katie, where have you been? Jesus Christ. You've already asked one, so obviously. I've been in hiding, but I'm back. Well, it wasn't noted, and it was... yeah. When are we meeting up? Katie Hearsey, you're really misunderstanding the point of the podcast questions. I'm going to get back on track with people who know. Julian Firth says, how many holes in a sailor's dream? I like that, Julian. You're always the winner. Julian wins. Jonathan Snell. I didn't answer. I don't know how many holes. How many holes? I'll tell you what, actually. Funny you say that, Julian. After the gig the other day, it wasn't as bad as I said, of course. I was saying that for effect. I'm very good. I had a couple of people come up to me after. Oh, I love that. Nice one, mate. Well done. Got to join in all this business. And there was this one lad turn up, very shy, and he said to me, he went, I really like that. And, you can tell that you're good because you just carried on when no one was laughing. And I was like, yes, thank you. He said, but you want them round. I went, oh, nice one. So nice for, they didn't have to say that. Nice that he bothered. So I said to him, what do? You're a comedian. He went, yeah, well, I'm part of like a sketch group. We do like a funny pirate medley. And I was with this bloke, Giles Tully. Hello, Giles. And I went, what? He went, yeah, we do like it's like a medley of funny pirate songs. And I went, what? Like a shanty comedy. And he didn't know what I meant. He just went, no, it's just like a medley of funny pirate songs. I was going, what? Like, wah. So, in answer to your question, how many holes in a sailor's dream? Not as many as there are holes in that young comic's reality. Jonathan Snell, why did the chicken cross the road? Andrea Pinky Winky Winchester, how many calories in a bacon roll? How many calories in a bacon roll? I don't know. How many calories in a cake and roll? I think I answered your question there. John Webb, fucking hell, how many? Who put the wop in the wop, don't know. William Van Leerop, what time will concrete arrive on this fucking building site? I want to go fucking home. Nina Reynolds says, would you? And there's a picture of a man with too many muscles. If I had to, Nina, if I had to. Carrie Louise Althorpe says, what makes a dull cunt different from a slightly dull cunt? A gossamer thread of glistening lady milk, perhaps? Mark Tibbenham says, do you have to?
I'm making a dinner.
Just shush. 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 Mark Tib...
2 secs, sorry.
Mark Tibbenham says, do you think you're going to crack it as a comic? Mark Tibbenham, I already have, you cheeky fuck. Mark Tibbenham then goes on to say, personally, I think you show promise. Oh, that's very kind of you. But I also think you should start writing your own material instead of asking otherwise busy creative types to help you out, you lazy cunt. Well, I am sorry. Katie here, see, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck? We've had it before, you're in the door too late. But then she saves herself with, do you prefer a finger or a tongue up your bum? I don't know, whatever's...
He prefers a finger.
There's your answer. There's your, can't get fairer than that. Mark Stuckey, hello Mark. Mark Stuckey says, what was the last lie you told? Well, I've just finished doing a podcast, Mark, so there's many in there. And everyone's favourite podcast friend, Piers Simmons, says, have you tried squonking yet? Yeah, no. Cheers for the answer last week. Similar to what I told her, except without the child catcher impression. Well, Piers Simmons, on that lovely note and my endless accidental child catcher impression, I bid you all farewell. Please tell your friends. Please share this podcast to your friends. I need more listeners. I've had advertisers approach me, and if I can get a few more listeners, I can slowly ruin the podcast. Look after yourself and those you love. See you later. Much later.
How many sausages do you want?